afternoon. The Eltham Wildcats playing host to the Mt Gambier Pioneers. Tyson Whelan in commentary this Sunday afternoon alongside James Whelan. Good to see you, James. It's been a big weekend of anticipation leading up to both last night's game and today. And for the Eltham Wildcats, well, they did the job they needed to do last night, getting that win and locking in that final top 8 position. And then today, well, it's a little bit rudimentary, but I think positions will still be decided. Mt Gambier wins, certainly playing for a home final if they can get the win here and stay above Waverley, as you see the first basket made out on the floor by Reinl. So, James, what are we looking for today?
So, as you said, both teams played last night. Eltham coming up with a win, and Mt Gambier as well. So, both sides have locked their spot in finals, and I'm sure this is a final tune-up before they move on to the next part of their season. Both teams will be looking to go deep into finals, and Mt Gambier sitting second. You see Taylor Wynn put up a 3, unable to hit that one, but Mt Gambier sitting second, and Bendigo, no one's got anywhere near them on top of the ladder, but this Mt Gambier side are a great side. Sure they'll push deep into finals.
They come in heavy favourites today, of course. You'll notice out on the floor at the moment for Eltham Wildcats, Claudio Amato typically doesn't start, as we see first basket made by Brancatisano. Beck Pizzi, who of course we all know has been a WNBL superstar across a number of years and was a big part of last night. Looks like she's tweaked a knee injury maybe at this stage. There's still scans to be done, I'm told, but not playing today out of precaution at least, as the ball comes into Louise Forsyth, loses her footing. Lucky to come away with the foul there, I think. Eltham will have possession. So she's not featuring today, which means Tina Akuzo, who's also started on the bench today, will not have it one-way traffic, but will certainly have a bit easier than perhaps she would have thought coming in today without Eltham starting centre out on the floor. So Amato out there at the moment. We have a quick look at how they went last night. As you mentioned, a big win over Waverley. And we're talking about second and third on the ladder as the ball comes into Wynn. She tosses up the 3 and couldn't finish. So a big game from Mila Goodchild. She had 25 points, 9 boards. Sandra Brown, Hayley Reinl, Sherry Kalia all had double figures. And Tina Akuzo also coming off the bench last night had 11 points. What goes up from Brancatisano, unable to finish. A couple of minutes into this one, Mt Gambier to register the first 2 scores. Ball coming inwards, it was Reinl looking to finish but couldn't do so. And Eltham had their first basket through the hands of Louise Forsyth. She had a superstar performance in that win last night against Diamond Valley, and the consequences were massive last night, so to step up when it mattered was important for her. She had 17 points and led the scoring for a long time. Annalie Maley, Beck Pizzi and Hayley Liddell, all big contributors last night. 22 points for Annalie Maley and 17 boards. There was a player up in NBL 1 North for Logan last night as Maley ducks underneath, who had 35 rebounds. I've got to find the name. I think it was Ruth, her last name is. She's been a big part of that franchise up there for a while, and she had some 35 rebounds. Something to that effect anyway. Liddell kicks it across to Wynn. Maley was wide open underneath, but couldn't get it to her quick enough. So a 2-point game here. Looking inside to Forsyth. Turns around and registers the score. She'll head to the line for an extra.
Took a little tap on the arm there. She put up that shot. It's her favourite shot. We've said plenty of times this season, she just jumps into the post, that mid-keyway area, and turns and finishes over her defender. Able to do that there, and chance to give Eltham their first lead of the day.
You're on a sold-out arena here at Montmorency Secondary College. They tested the infrastructure of that grandstand across from us and won away with that 9-point victory. It was the most crucial of performances. And then the men backed it up, so both sides coming in today with important wins last night, and so we'll see how they play this one out. A big final series ahead potentially. Certainly for Mt Gambier, we'll feel they can go quite deep. Eltham, still a bit of an unknown question, as Liddell receives it in the corner and tosses it up in front of her bench. That's an area she's pretty familiar with. And the ball hits the bottom of the net, as we're all pretty accustomed to seeing from her.
So it'll be Amato that picks up the foul there. As Brancatisano just attempted to drive baseline. Block, so last time down the floor, Mt Gambier with the turnover, and Eltham were able to leak out. It was a nice find by Maley to Liddell in the corner for the 3. So you see Reinl there with the mid-range jumper on the wing. Nice end line play. Brings it back to a 10-8 game.
Of course, we're coming to you on KO this afternoon, game of the week. game of some consequence, and certainly in the men's as well. So hope you're enjoying the coverage, and we'll bring it to you live on K all through afternoon. So let your friends and family know. I'm sure many of the community of Mt Gambier are tuning in this afternoon. So hello to you, South Australians. Hope you're enjoying your afternoon. Oh, must be morning still there, actually. Afternoon soon. Eltham will have the ball from the baseline. 2-point game it is. 6 minutes to play in this first quarter as we see Okuzo make her first appearance of the afternoon. 11 points she had off the bench last night.
So Imogen Rock just goes to the bench. Picked up 2 early fouls there, so take no risks. She'll head to the bench as we see Eltham make the first sub with Hayley Munro coming on for Claudia Amato, just to try and even out that size difference with Okuso coming onto the floor.
Hayley Munro, she might not have necessarily reflected on the stat sheet last night, but if you got to tune into the game or perhaps come along, her performance, physicality she's able to put on, although she'll wish she had that pass again. It was pretty impressive last night. She'll be fouled there. It's a really good child. Will head to the line for a couple. 82% free throw shooter. He's a good shot across the season, certainly coming into the weekend. Makes the first and a chance to tie it up at 10 apiece halfway through this first quarter. Yeah, no issues there. So evenly poised. Almost another turnover. Eltham have had issues with ball handling at times, or at least passing, and that Louise Forsyth almost lost track of that one, but did well to stop when she had the ball coming towards her. Munro gives to Maley. Forsyth sets the seal inside, but nicely done by Reinl to get in front of her. Here's Maley. Spotted a laneway. It doesn't take much for Annalie Maley. And she finishes for 2.
It's that ability for Maley to put the ball on the floor, but therefore Mt Gambier need a small defender to keep in front of her, but then able to finish over the top with her size and athleticism.
Okuso left it well short. Of course, Eltham sneaking into the finals. Looks like they'll start 8th place. And, well, they come in probably not expecting a whole lot out of today's game as Forsyth hands it off to Liddell, especially with their starting 5 in Beck Pizzi. You'd argue, given that other players have been in and out of the side throughout the season, that Pizzi's probably leading MVP candidate for Eltham this season, is that they perhaps didn't come in with a whole lot of expectations, but if they can put up a fight this afternoon against the side that's sitting second and only trailing behind the side that's almost been unstoppable in Bendigo, they could feel like they might just have a chance to make a run this final series. We'll see what happens, though, and they continue the good start they've had. Here's Forsyth. Gives it out to Munro from the perimeter. Hit one from out there last night, but couldn't replicate on this occasion. Quickly down the floor through the hands of Kalia. She spotted Reinl, considered, and then shot over the top of Munro for 2.
So it's a 14 tied game here, and both teams shooting it reasonably well. Not too many turnovers either, looking after the ball. Mt Gambier come up with another stop there, and it's Goodchild out on the fast break, finds Branka Tassano in the corner for 3, and drains it. Mt Gambier take a 3-point lead, and Eltham need a timeout just to talk things over here.
So 1 of 2 from outside the arc. Tassano will be pleased to see that one go down, and yes, you're right, goes into the timeout now with a lead. Carly Trist, referee, out on the floor at the moment, refereeing her 200th Siebel and NBL 1 game. Congratulations to her. We're celebrating all the milestones this weekend. Steve Middleton, this is his 300th NBL 1 Siebel game here last night. A very well refereed game, and good to see Carly out celebrating and being recognised before the game with a plaque recognising her 200th NBL 1 and Siebel game. 3.5 minutes to play here, first quarter. And Gambier have shot away to a 3-point lead. So a healthy Sunday afternoon crowd starting to roll in, and it'll continue to build across the afternoon. It's that pointy end of the season where teams are jostling for those final positions and, of course, getting ready for a final series. So both teams, of course, coming off playing pretty intense matches last night. We'll just Probably take it easy early on, but once the intensity picks up a notch towards the end of this one, if it's still close, we'll look forward to seeing how it shakes out. 3-point margin it is. Mount Gambier with the 3 team fouls so far, Eltham with the 2, as you can see on your screen. Eltham will have the ball out of the timeout. Let's see what Matt Bongetti, coach of Eltham Wildcats, has drawn up in the timeout. Claudia Amato does the ball handling duties. Net by Branca Tassano, drilled that 3 before the timeout, and she almost gets the steal, almost forces the backcourt violation. Maley is setting a really high seal, I should say. Liddell can give it across to Forsyth, look to go penetrating inside, gives it to Maley. She's been in there a little while. Cries of how long. In the end, she misses in any case.
So off the end line play there, it's Goodchild unable to come up with the 2. Eltham looking to get through. Nice offensive set after their timeout. Unable to come up with the score last time. See what they can come up with here.
Forsyth defends really nicely, got the 2 hands up straight in the air. Referees could pick nothing up on that particular play as Maley steps into the triple and almost ties it up. Scraped the net on the way through as Atina Akuzo sets a big screen down the floor. Forsyth a little winded after that one. Kalia considered her options, surveying the floor, but Kuzo's edge of the paint and receives it, defended by Munro, and Amato tries to sneak around her and come up with a steal, but Goodchild does well. Emphasises the contact and the referee spots it, so it'll be Pioneers ball from the baseline. Amato picks up her 2nd personal as we see subs taken. Ali Marshall checks into the game. Taylor Wynn also returning. Forsyth, who copped a decent knock when she hit the screen of Zatina Okuzo, also heads to the bench. Uzi to inbound.
Eltham just gone to a 2-3 zone just to break up what Mount Gambier were going to run off the end line.
They look a little rattled from it too. What can they come up with as a corner 3 option if she goes for it instead? She steps out of court. That's not the outcome they would have wanted. So Wynn has to get it over halfway. Used a good 7 seconds to do so. Defended very tightly by Isabella Brancatasano. Eventually gets it to Marshall. Defended by Akuzo, who's looking pretty agile out there. Gives it to Liddell now, top of the 3. Munro was to her right, but went it alone, penetrating all the way inside. And goodness, there wasn't a whole lot to it, but enough to warrant a foul on Sherry Kalia. A couple of free throws to come, chance to bring it back within 1 as the floor wipers are waved onto the court.
So there's a few discussions going on down here between Eltham's guards and the coaching group, just getting the ball up the floor and getting that first initial pass to get into offense. And it's been Branca Tassano who's really led the pressure from the Mount Gambier defence and forced a high pickup up near the half-court line. And Eltham just, their offense hasn't been going too well the last couple of minutes. Stop there and a chance at a fast break, but once again Mount Gambier back quickly and finish that. See that one off to the right from Liddell.
The pass was pretty adventurous into Taylor Wynn, but asked a little too much of her. Subs taken for Mount Gambier. Hayley Reinl returning to the floor for Akuzo, who's had a good contribution in her minutes.
So Eltham staying in this 2-3 zone.
Ball is up and drilled by Goodchild. Had a big game last night and looking to replicate that form this afternoon. Takes herself to 9 points in this first quarter, shooting some 50% from the field at this stage. As Taylor Wynn loses a handle, it almost had a second chance at it. And yes, that's kind of the foot of Brancatisana, but in the end it was Wynn who touched it last. So 43 seconds left, a couple of possessions left. Could go for a 2-for-1 if they go quickly, but I'll take it relatively easy up the floor here. Here's Brancatisano, defended by Wynn tightly. And so that zone's still on display here. Adele comes across. Reinl tosses up the mid-range jumper. Falling down, they come up with the offensive rebound. It's a good one. Goodchild for three. She's drilled a couple in a row. 12 points for Mila Goodchild. 8 points. 7 points, I should say, the margin here. She's much more comfortable than it looked at stages. Can Eltham respond? Here's Maley. Top of the paint, looks to penetrate. Lucky not to get an offensive foul. And turns and shoots. And couldn't come up with a score, so down the floor we go. Can they come up with another final score in the dying seconds? Foul called! Wonderful outcome for Reinl, who'll head to the line. A chance to make it a 10-point game and 0.1 second remaining. So that's a pretty disastrous outcome for Eltham.
So it was pretty poor clock management from Eltham. He got the ball back with 21 seconds left and could have taken the last shot, but went up with 8 seconds left, and it allowed Mt Gambier to get out on the fast break at this last two.
And Reinl finishes it, so Eltham will simply see out the clock for this final 0.1 of a second. And the siren sounds with a 10-point game. It's a narrative that wasn't guaranteed at times when it was all tied up at 14 each. Eltham led at times, and then it's been a 12-2 run since then. So a big finish to the quarter by. Nice to see her continuing out on the floor. She played every second of that first quarter. And she remains out on the floor as we return from halftime. Azuzi nails the mid-range jumper. Pass came in to Maley. It was probing. She comes up with it though. Backs her way into the defence, but really nicely done, the combination defense there. Mid-range jumper somehow falls to the foreside. And the good work of Kalia and Uzi underneath wasn't enough to stop the basket in the end when it got kicked out to Forsyth. It's an area she's pretty comfortable shooting from. It's where she gets to rely upon if she can't get right underneath the basket, which is, with the defense we're seeing, understandable. Nice pass into Imogen Rock, who finishes off the glass.
That was a great pass from Kalia there, who's up to 5 assists already in this game. So she's controlling the ball well, finding her open teammates when they're there. See another nice pass there from Maley to Forsyth on the opposite short corner. Matched her shot from about 30 seconds earlier.
Kicked out. It goes up from Uzi. Here are Eltham looking to get on a run here. See, a couple of baskets stringing them together. That's illegal. That's strange. I mean, I've got to assume Mila Goodchild knew she wasn't allowed to do that.
I'm not sure what.
We clip that up on the socials.
Yeah.
And find out what people think of that little moment. Goodchild has passed it into herself from the baseline when no one came to receive it. I have to assume she knows she's not allowed to do that, but a funny moment nonetheless. Kicked across, here's Reinl, puts it to the floor, probing inside, defense comes across and forces the miss.
A foot violation. Go the other way. Eltham ball. So this momentum swung a little bit here again towards Eltham. Back to an 8-point game with a chance to bring it back further again.
So more out on the floor for Eltham now. Goes through Marshall to win. Here's Maley. Looks to drive. Met by a couple of defenders. Kicks across Moore from the 3-point line. Siren sounds to the shot clock. In the end, falls out for her.
So Goodchild again with yet another three and takes her tally up to 15 for the game. It's a nicely run play from Mt Gambier there, who set a ball screen, and Ali Marshall just had to help. So short two there by Maley, but Marshall had to help on the roller. And that left Goodchild by herself all on the wing. The way she's shooting, do not want to come off her at all.
So it's a 9-point game here with 10 points at quarter time. So Eltham just looking to crawl back slightly on this margin that Mt Gambier are able to string together in the last few minutes of that first quarter. The shot goes up and it's drilled by Sherry Kalia. And so that outside shooting from Mt Gambier is on full display. They go 5 of 7 from beyond the arc now, shooting some 71% from out there for those who have a mathematical brain unlike me. And so the ball comes into Maley. They're looking to respond in the paint at the moment and find 2 points that way. But twos count less than threes at the moment, and Mt Gambier having no trouble from out there. Eltham shooting just 1 of 8 from beyond the arc at 13%. 10-point margin it is. Pioneers go through the hands of Reinhold. Gets top of the paint, collides with Maley, and comes out through the hands of Kalia. Looking inside, here is Reinhold. Comes across with Ali Marshall, and here's another 3-point play for Hayley Reinhold. So tough to get the hand up and finish. And she'll head to the line for an extra where she's had no trouble so far. Both teams making subs. Akuzo returns to Mt Gambier. Liddell returning to the floor alongside Munro. Shoots 73% from the charity stripe across the season with Reinhold. She's made her first free throw earlier to complete the 3-point play, and she's done it again. She's back out to 13 points the margin here. And Eltham responds. Here's Forsyth. Gives it to Munro. Ends up in the hands of Wynn. She's a shooter. Couldn't get that one to go, though. Fighting underneath was May. Look how strong she is. She is incredible with that athleticism to pull down that board and then give herself a chance to go to the stripe for a couple. Caught on Reinhold there. Picks up her second personal.
So just as things look like it was swinging back towards the Wildcats slightly, Mt Gambier responds with another short run to push it to 13, and see a timeout used here by the Pioneers. Probably just giving the girls a bit of a rest here. Just run over a few things and they'll look to extend this lead into half-time. Just sitting at 13 at the moment. It's just been the difference in the ability to make buckets at this stage of the game. Mt Gambier with 39 points in 14 minutes of basketball. Well on track to bring up triple figures at this stage. As you mentioned, Tice, 5 of 7 from 3. And 10 of 18 from 2. So overall shooting 60% from the field. Hard to keep up with any team when they're shooting like that. I don't think Eltham's defense has been bad by any stretch, but Mt Gambier just seeing the ball go through the hole at this stage.
Imogen Rock sporting one of those face masks at the moment. I don't know if that's something she's been wearing throughout the season or if she's looking after something at the moment. And so Maley steps up to the line. That's the first. No issues with the second either. So brings it back to 11 points. 6 minutes and change to play here in the second quarter. And Gambier had the ascendancy for the bulk of this one. Eltham need to get a stop here. They've got most of their starting 5 out there at the moment. Here is Rock looking side to Akuzo. Kicked around. Look at the passing from Mt Gambier. Just so streaky. Kicked out. Shot from Rock. Couldn't get it to go. And Liddell does well to hold on to it. We're probably lucky not to get whistled for something as Wynn tosses up the 3. The ball falls out of court and Eltham lose their possession. So Eltham, they get the stop as they wanted, but couldn't turn it into a basket. And so Stones at double figures the margin. 5.5 minutes left.
So Eltham had a little bit of success with this zone at times in the first quarter, but And Mt Gambier seemed to figure it out. A couple of late threes through Goodchild, and there we see Akuso get the catch on the high post, and Munro just got in her way. That'll be a block, and Akuso will go to the line for 2.
Both teams have been relatively intelligent with the ball so far. Last night, there was a few turnovers from Mt Gambier. They'll live to regret. I think Sherry Collier ended up with 6 turnovers. Goodchild had 4 of her own. Granted, played 40 minutes, so I suppose that comes with the territory. But so far, both teams looking after the rock. Here's Maley. She knows how to look after the rock. Quickly down the floor, all the way to the basket, and she's blocked by Akuso, denied. Quickly back down the floor for Mt Gambier in the hands of Rock. Looking on that right hand to probe into the paint. Instead, kicks it out in the hands of Kalia. She tries from 3, but couldn't get it to go. Pulls down her own board. Akuso has options. Finds one in Branka Tassano. She tries for 3. Couldn't get it to go. And again, Mt Gambier almost pulled down the board. Eltham eventually managed to hold on to it. Maybe he's going to have to get it over, and does so through the hands of Forsyth. Have they got through the defence here? I think that is a bit optimistic. Munro looking inside to Forsyth, instead gives it to Wynn. Oh, there's a lane where that'll be an easy... Oh my goodness, she's missed an easy dolly there, I'm afraid. Louise Forsyth had the whole paint to herself and somehow left it short. Sub's taken here for Eltham. Amato will check into the game for Taylor Wynn. £12 is the buffer Mt Gambier have. We'll kick into the second half of this second quarter. Branka Tassano. 3 points is good for her. And they are on fire from out there.
And that will be 9 assists so far for Kalia. It's just finding open teammate after open teammate. Some of those skip passes to open shooters on the weak side of the floor has been unreal. See the ball in her hands once again here.
Pioneers looking through Akuso, kicked out. Here's another wide open 3. This time it gets all caught up in the iron. And Kalia, who has been unbelievable with the assists, as you mentioned, James. 9 dimes in one half, and we've still got almost 4 minutes to play. It's cruel of the Mt Gambier coach to take her off when she's on track for an assist record or something, the way she's playing at the moment. Quickly down the floor, Forsyth had options but went it alone, and I think that's probably been it. It's let Eltham down at times throughout this game. Just not running through hands. Here's Goodchild. Akuso receives it from Branka Tassano, trying to back away in Munro. Good luck to anyone trying to do that as the kick out comes to Imogen Rock, who again just can't quite find the range. Munro. Ooh, that was a pass that got all caught up in the ring. 15 points here for Mt Gambier. Can they extend it heading into halftime and put themselves well and truly in the box seat? Goodchild cuts away, slices through the defence like a knife through butter, and timeout taken here by Eltham. You can understand why. This is turning from bad to worse from an Eltham perspective, and Mt Gambier, who came in to just get the business done, and doing exactly that so far.
Just here there as Eltham are walking off the court. One of the girls say, girls, we need to get through offense. As we mentioned, ball not getting through hands and not a lot of movement since the first 5 or so minutes of the game from this Eltham side, and Mt Gambier's ability to put the ball in the hoop largely off the assist work from Kalia. 9 assists at this stage. 45 points with 3 minutes left in the first half. Their offense is clicking. It's the right time of year to be playing like this. The second place spot up for grabs with a win today. In the home final next week. Chance to go deep into the playoffs. Well, for the Eltham women, it's a chance to... they've been in finals positions over years past, and including on top of the ladder in the season they got cancelled in 2021, that was. Unfortunate that year with the global pandemic and COVID going around, unable to see what that season might have brought, but they've locked in their finals position this year. I want to play a little bit better than this and get some momentum heading into next week, which at this stage, the way things are going, they're going to finish in 8th spot. See Munro for 2 there, and 8th spot finish probably means a game at this stage, depending on results today. The ladder is what it is today. It'd mean a game down at Frankston next weekend.
Kuzo was triple teamed briefly, so did well to spot the shooter, and Brancatosano steps into the triple with no issues whatsoever. In this 3-point shooting, granted, I wouldn't say the defense has been closing out particularly swiftly, at least so far. He's been pretty impressive. 50% from beyond the arc, 7 of 14 as Forsyth gives it up far too easily. Here's Brancatosano probing towards Imogen Rock. Couldn't get it to her. Here's Forsyth, head down, and then pulls up mid-range. That's it short though. Kuzo has it top of the perimeter. Comes into Imogen Rock. Kuzo setting the inside seal and then kicked out. 3-point basket goes up for Uzi, and she has no issues from out there. Couldn't register a score. In fact, didn't play last night, did Carol Uzi, and so she's come onto the floor and had an immediate impact. 5 points to her name, as you can see on your screen, including 1 of 1 from out there. Here's Munro.
So, Mt Gambier at this stage of the game have hit 7 more threes than what Eltham have, and the lead's 21 points. So we can say the 3-point shooting is the exact difference in this match so far. Mt Gambier at 8 of 15. At time it's a turnover, but the end of both quarters so far, first and this second quarter, Mt Gambier have been able to hit a few long-range bombs, and it's just extended that margin out. We saw it was a 14-all game with a couple of minutes left. It was Goodchild in the first quarter. A couple of their own here. It's been Brancatosano and Uzi as well with a couple of threes, and it's pushed it out beyond 20 points.
Here's Maley, edge of the paint. Was met by Goodchild. Kicked across to Amore for the triple in front of her bench, but left it well short. Liddell spinning, shooting, but couldn't finish, and so Maley cleans up underneath the basket. 1 possession remaining here. Well, shot clock beats game clock by just a couple of seconds. See how this plays out. Rock goes it alone. Foul spotted there. And finishes. She'll head to the line for the 3-point play. 22 points now. Eltham, they manage the time well, should have the last shot here. Here's Maley. Amore now. Finds Munro. That's almost split the difference between Maley and Amore, and Maley's going to have to toss up the 3 and draws contact. Yeah, she'll head to the line for 3 here. Hands foul called on Carol Uzi.
I think the rest are just coming together. They'll probably put a little bit of time back on the clock here. As is custom, when a foul gets called and the clock then runs out, it might be a couple of tenths of a second, 0.3 of a second left. So Maley will head to the line to try and bring this margin back under 20 points for Eltham.
So no issues on the first 2 and makes good on the third of 3. Yeah, they'll toss it up. Siren sounds. That won't count as a missed shot. Went the length of the court. And we return for second half action. NBL 1 South game of the round live on KO Freebies right across Australia. Hope you're enjoying the action. If you're tuning in from Mount Gambier, well, you'll be liking what you're seeing. 19 points is the margin as we return into this second half. It's been the start they've wanted. And they came here to do their business, and they're doing exactly that after a big win over Waverley last night. Tyson Whelan in commentary with you all throughout the afternoon alongside James Whelan. Eltham unable to score in their first possession. James, what are both sides looking to get out of this second half?
So, for Mount Gambier, just much of the same, I'm sure. The shooting so far in this game's been off the charts. 8 made threes from 15 attempts in the first half. And for Eltham, things just haven't been flowing too well at this stage. See short there from Goodchild. Eltham will be wanting to improve their game in the second 20 minutes as they head into finals next week. As nice run from Taylor Wynn to Hayley Liddell, who's able to finish underneath. Both sides want to stay healthy, and if this game does get out of hand any further for Eltham, you might see both teams pull their stars. It's a nice mid-range jumper there from Reinl. And so at the moment it's a 19-point margin, which it was at half-time. Just 2 points each for both sides. That'll be a foul on Reinl, just slapping down at the ball. Not happy with the call, but definitely came down. So Forsyth makes no mistake at the line. 17-point margin by the way of the Pioneers. And so it's Kalia bringing the ball up, who in that first half is an absolute wizard. Found her teammates for open shots, and they were able to knock them down 9 times.
Reinl backs away, tries for the fader, and the mid-range jumper is good for her. So she gets herself to 14 points. Actually, make that 16, as you see on your screen there. Shooting 7 of 11 from the field. Yet to step beyond the arc just yet, but she's having herself a game alongside Mila Goodchild with 17. And that's pretty good from Forsyth. Another good angle from home. She drills the 3. Reinl looking to penetrate. Defended tightly by Forsyth. Kicked around. Kalia almost travelled. Only the call here. 2 free throws to come. Liddell whistled for it. The referee's going to have to bench all the way around to find her number. That's it. Okay. 24. There you go. 4 wipers involved. And it'll be Claire heading to the line for a couple. She had 10 points last night. 2 from 2 from the free throw line.
It might be one of those replays that you see where Liddell might have been in position, but might have just been in the charge circle with her heels. So Kalia goes 1 for 2 from the line. Eltham with a chance just to bring this margin back a little further again.
Amato surveying the floor, finds Liddell. She was tightly defended, but fancied her chances from out there. A little too audacious in the end. 42-59, Pioneers leading it. Reinl directing traffic. Hands it off to Kalia. She's looking to blow by Forsyth. Eventually they resort to the corner 3 where Branka Desano has done some of her best work today. And again, that 3-point basket from Mount Gambier continues to be deadly.
That'll be double-digit assists now for Kalia. Just see what she was planning to do there as Amato takes it in, gets fouled, and will head to the line for 2. But Kalia could just read the defence, what they were going to do, and step through and under as they collapsed, and able to find Branka Desano in the corner for 3. She's been on target today. shooting 4 of 7. So quite impressive, along with the rest of the side, 9 of 17. So for Eltham, if they're any chance, they're going to have to hope that Mt Gambier start missing these threes.
Makes good on the second, and 19 points is the margin. 3.5 minutes into this second half as Milo again getting involved with the tip there. So as we spoke about earlier in the game, Eltham without their starting centre at the moment as Maley stops on a dime and finishes for 2. Amato out there starting on the floor for Eltham. Beck Pizzi just tweaking her knee a little bit by the looks of it last night in that massive win to get Eltham into the finals. At the top of Diamond Valley's Liddell's going to have to fight hard to keep it in Eltham hands, and referee Carly Trist has spotted a foul. Beyond Mila Goodchild collects her first personal foul. Not in too much foul trouble just yet. Reynolds the only one with 3 for Mt Gambier. Liddell has 3 for Eltham. Quickly down the floor, Forsyth. Looking to be active here. Perhaps a little too active because Liddell couldn't keep it in her hands, so Mt Gambier, just as quickly as it ping-pongs down the floor for Eltham, it returns for Mt Gambier. Goodchild, considering which way she wanted to go, instead stayed still, and looks like Trist has spotted a travelling violation there on Reinald.
Team Ryan will go to the bench for Tina Rakuso. In the first half, Eltham matched her minutes with Hayley Munro, electing not to so far here in this third quarter.
Looks inside to Liddell, edge of that no-charge circle, and she's just trying to hustle her way to the cup, but can't do so. They're lucky for it to come off Gambier hands. It was Goodchild who was fast to touch it, and Eltham will hold on to possession. Here's Maley. Mid-range jumper left a little short, so Mt Gambier quickly back down the floor. Branca Desano all the way to the cup. Extra speed from her. She's been doing it outside, and that's how she does it inside. Wynn receives it. Forsyth sets the high screen. Considered rolling, but instead pops. Here's Liddell. Maley sets the screen this time. She pops out as well. Liddell does well to draw the foul. She'll head to the line for a couple. Free throw shooter Hayley Liddell goes 1 of 2, but it's a good outcome for Eltham as Annalie Maley pulls down the offensive rebound, and that rebound count has just evened up now, 23 to 24. Gambier had a big advantage there earlier in the game. Eltham well and truly want to stay in this one. It seems like they want to take this all the way to the end. They're not giving up. Here's Akuzo, edge of the paint, trying to back away, and Liddell is clearly undersized. And Akuzo has no issues with that. Eltham clearly undersized without Beck Pizzi today, and Akuzo taking full advantage of it. Amato gives to Munro. Here's Wynn, she's over-defended. Does well to keep it in hands, and then might have a laneway to the basket. Goes all the way inside. Finishes for 2 to Taylor Wynn. That's very smart play from Taylor Wynn. She lost handle of the ball, but spotted there was a laneway there and took full advantage of it.
Yeah, it was Imogen Roku. Got her hand in the lane and just gambled a little bit for that steal. Nearly came up with it. And when Wynn was able to get hands back on the ball, able to beat her with speed to the basket. Roku a little bit overly aggressive on defence. Chance for a three-point play, which Taylor Wynn unable to come up with there. So another stop by Eltham and 16-point margin, chance to get a little bit closer. I think this push needs to result in the margin getting underneath double digits if Eltham are a chance in the last quarter. And that's a nice find by Taylor Wynn to a back-cutting Annalie Maley underneath, who's able to finish with the reverse layup.
Pass from Taylor Wynn is about as good as you'll see, to spot Maley and then to execute it so delicately. And at the other end, Imogen Rock had all the time in the world, but seemingly not enough in the end, as underneath the extra effort by Sherry Colliers gets the score eventually.
If you give up 3 or 4 offensive rebounds, eventually the other team are going to score, and Eltham didn't bring the energy or want for the ball there. And the defensive stop, and Mt Gambier able to come up with 2.
Returns to 16 points the margin. Amato has it from the perimeter, and she steps into the triple with no issues. Claudia Amato draws it back to 13 points the margin, and so if Amato or the others can get firing from out there, they haven't been cooking by any means at the moment, but they can just find a bit of extra zest from beyond the arc. Anything's possible. Comes back to 13 points as I mentioned. Here's Goodchild. Played really well in that first half, but yet to score in this second half. That's 17 as a Kuzo. He's played at a few different clubs at NBL 1 South level. Finds a home at Mt Gambier this season and is showing her worth. Got a bit of atmosphere in the stadium. That's almost a cross-court violation.
I think that one was definitely a cross-court violation there.
Here is Amato, gives it off to Munro. Elbow, kicked around now. Liddell probing, but eventually thought the best option was a triple. But when you have Maley underneath, it usually is. Just put it anywhere near the hoop, and Maley will do the rest. Drags it down and then puts it back in for 2.
That was a broken offense and nothing much was happening, so Liddell thought, may as well throw it up. No, we've got the best rebounder in the game here. Maley able to come up with 2, and Goodchild just bounces that one off her foot. So that's timeout. Wildcats, who brought this margin from what was a 21-point lead back to 13, and 2 minutes left in this third. We'll draw up the next couple of plays, insist on some good defense, which only the one team foul. There's chance to be aggressive, try and come up with some stops and some steals. Main thing is they've got to score.
So 13 points the margin, definitely not out of the question now. It just seemed like when it was that extended margin at half-time that this game might have already been read into the history books, but Eltham have come out with a pretty good start to this second half. There's some 19 points to margin. The lead was more than that at times.
22, I think, was the biggest lead we've got.
Yep, 22.
And that was just before Annalie Maley hit the 3 free throws to finish that first half. So Mt Gambier have come out and they're just 1 of 4 from 3 this quarter. So slowed down a little bit beyond the arc. Just allowed Eltham to get back into this game slightly.
So Amato hit that 3 just a short time ago. Can she step into another triple and get Eltham all the way back into single-figure margins here? Here's Liddell, defended by Reinl. The kick around into the corner. Amato was there briefly. Get it to her. Does she consider the shot? Instead does, and Bracassano defending her. 5 seconds on the shot clock. Going to have to get creative here. Natalie Marshall tosses up the 3. Nothing doing. Liddell might pull down the offensive rebound. Munro can kick it around. It's not going to fall for Maley. So the Pioneers have got 5 team fouls, but Eltham relying on that outside shot. I'm not going to be drawing fouls anytime soon. Here's Bracassano. Munro comes to help. They double briefly. Reinl considers her option, then was left alone and steps into the 3. She's up to 19 points. She's having a big night.
She's only shooting 22% from beyond the arc for the season, so Eltham thought they'd take their chances. Ooh, nearly a mishap there for Bracassano just stepping on the ball. So Eltham thought, let's leave Reinl to her devices beyond the 3-point arc, and she made them pay for that.
Amato will inbound here a minute and change to play. Munro's going to lose it. Oh, touched away by Akuzo, says the referee. So they maintain possession. 8 seconds on the shot clock here. Maley probing to the right-hand side of the screen. Here's Marshall. 3 seconds on the shot clock. To toss it up in desperation. Didn't touch the ring, so shot clock will sound in the background, but it matters little. As Goodchild takes it down the floor quickly. Stops on a dime, and Munro with the block. Rolls out of court, and Mt Gambier will have possession with 18 on the shot. Forsyth returning to the floor for Liddell, who's been kept pretty quiet on the afternoon. Has the 10 points, but considering her lofty standards, has defended her pretty well. Inbound comes in. Here's Goodchild from 3. Looked a little long and was. Forsyth can give to Maley. Has Amato in the corner. Does she go to her? She's hit that 3 from that spot. Can they get it to her, though? No, she's going to drive straight into traffic and then commit an unsportsmanlike foul. Pretty, perhaps foolish would be the way to describe that little moment.
It's one of those ones where you lose the ball and in trying to get it back, you think, oh, I'm frustrated here and I'll just grab the player. Referee forced to call the unsportsmanlike foul, and rightfully so.
Brancatisano will step up to the charity stripe for a couple. They'll have possession after the shots as well. This is the first, a little uncharacteristically. Take on the second. And so Pioneers will have possession after the unsportsmanlike foul. Maley the one to commit it. Just the second team foul for Eltham though, so that's how they play this one out. Clear finds the Brancatisano shot. Foul caught underneath. It's going to be Pioneers' ball. I think Marshall whistled for the foul. Yep, she is. Pushing foul, I think.
No, it's just two girls going at it there from when Kalia was driving. She was a little frustrated. I think she might have given Marshall one, and then Marshall reacted with a strong box out that was a bit more than a box out, and the referee spotted that one.
Akuzo trying to hustle her way to the cup, and Munro defends so well. Kicked around. Threes open for Goodchild. After the little short, but Akuzo commits the foul underneath. Munro hits the deck, and that's two big bodies going at it. And Munro wins out. So 9 seconds left for Eltham to come up with something. In fact, it's going to be a defensive foul. So there'll be 2 bonus free throws to come here for Eltham. It'll be Hayley Munro who will step up to the line. .81% free throw shooter. Hayley Munro. Chance to keep it, I suppose you'd call it, within touching distance, although it might be asking a little much with 1 quarter to play. Although I got to say, I mean, Eltham were leading by 18 points with 7 minutes to play last night, and within a couple of minutes it was back to a 2 or 3 point game. So anything's possible at this level when you've got such strong shooters out there. So now she nails the 2 free throws. It's at 15 points the margin here, but Mt Gambier afforded an opportunity to come up with potentially a dagger heading into 3/4 time. The pass comes across to Akuzo, who heads baseline, and that is pretty well defended again. No referee has called a foul there. Zatina Akuzo, I don't think she's particularly thrilled about it. They call it a block, and siren sounds on 3/4 time, James.
Looked pretty clean there from Munro. Nice defensive block there. So 15-point margin. Eltham had a chance a couple of times to get it back to single digits and weren't able to get a couple of scores there, and Mt Gambier just took control again. So there's still a little bit left to play for, and Eltham got a little hot there from beyond the arc. A couple of shots and some nice baskets underneath from Maley. Able to bring it back a little bit, but Mt Gambier would say is still in box position here. Finish out the regular season with a win. Team stats roll through, and 24 assists there for Mt Gambier, led by Kalia with 11. scoring. Eltham got a little hot there from beyond the arc. A couple of shots and some nice baskets underneath from Maley. Able to bring it back a little bit, but Mt Gambier would say is still in box position here. Finish out the regular season with a win. Team stats roll through and 24 assists there for Mt Gambier, led by Kalia with 11. Scoring leaders go through, and I believe that everyone that's touched the floor today has actually gotten on the scoreboard. So 3 in double digits for Mt Gambier, and likewise for Eltham. Annalie Maley doing what she does best on the boards. Another double-double, 22 points, 11 rebounds. A bit more of a team effort from Mt Gambier and spread around with their rebounding.
The Pioneers have led by as much as 22 points heading into half-time, and then only Maley managed to knock down 3 free throws to bring it back to 19. So it's a 15-point the margin. So the margin has been far more extensive than this. A good quarter, winning quarter for Eltham. In that third quarter that we just saw, the question is, can they do that again and a little better in this final period to put the pressure on Mt Gambier? Of course, as we mentioned pre-game, Eltham have more or less sewn up that 8th spot, and I don't think there's much movement either way, so they're sort of playing for pride and perhaps a bit of momentum heading into the finals. Mt Gambier, though, I think can lock in a second place spot here, lock in a home final at the Ice House. Passed in, and we're back underway for this final quarter. Here's Brancatosano. Now that's going to be a foot violation on Munro. 14 seconds on the shot to work with. $15 points the margin here by the Pioneers. Can they extend it on this play? Goodchild looks to cut inside. Well defended. She's just going to drop it out of court. Yeah, well defended by Wynn and Maley, and in the end, Goodchild had a little option, but to just pass it into the great unknown.
I don't think we've lost the ball over in that on the dark side yet, have we, this season?
Last night there was one that ventured out that way, and I was a little worried it wouldn't come back. Here's Wynn. It's a stolen from pick the pocket.
That's a couple of times Mt Gambier have been able to do that as Eltham have been driving, sticking their hands in and heading down on the ball. Come up with some steals.
Hands off to Goodchild. Mid-range runner is good for her. And so that's her first score for the second half. She'd been kept pretty quiet. She had all 17 points in the first half. And gets herself to 19 now with that basket, shooting 50% from the field. Here's Marshall. Looking for an option, has Forsyth high. Can give it to her in the handoff. Just a little stagnant on this offense. It's not making a whole lot of sense. The stagger screen was there briefly, but they can't use it as Maley gets all the way to the cup. Look, nowhere near getting that basket to go. That'll be a shot clock violation because of it. 17 points is the margin. It stays that way. Here's Kalia, defended by Wynn. If Eltham are going to give themselves any chance, they've got to get a stop here. Mt Gambier just want to continue the way they've been playing as Munro. Again, showing her defensive prowess on Hakuso. Wynn takes it down the floor, hands off to Marshall. Has Maley to her left, that's where she heads. The child almost gets tangled up and comes away with it, but Maley does well to hang on to it. Here's Marshall. Goes baseline, looking for a pass to Wynn, who had a bit of time. Step back is deadly usually from Taylor Wynn, and that's why rattles it in for 3 points to Taylor Wynn. And that's a pretty gorgeous move from the girl from Ballarat. Akuso receives it.
That's great basketball, great screen from Akuso. Brancatosano able to just drop off the pass to the roller, and nice 2 off the backboard. Likewise, Eltham say, if you can do it, Mount Gambier, so can we, with Hannah Maley finding Forsyth on her own roll there. I'm going to get a 2 layup.
Goodchild has it. 19 points for her, as I mentioned. 2 in this second half. Lionel sets the off-ball screen, and then the desperate toss around. She got herself in a little spot of bother. I think some would call that a bailout. Munro did enough to cause a foul, though, by the looks of it. So Amor will check into the game for Eltham. For Ali Marshall. Subs also taken for the Pioneers. Akuzo and Brakatasano find their way to the bench. Vision Rock is out there. Alongside Uzi. Kalia trying to back away, and then Taylor Wynn, who felt a little undersized, and that's the outcome. 7 minutes and change here. Wynn can give it to Maley, looking to penetrate. Instead, gives it to Munro. Mid-range jumper is pretty good for her. WNBL champion player at Bendigo a few years ago. Brings it back to 14 points to margin. Mount Gambier in the hands of Reinl now. Surveys the floor and finds Goodchild. Great plays by Mount Gambier to find an open shooter. Good passing, good ball movement, good screens. But this time they find themselves in a little spot of bother with 1 second remaining on the shot clock. Toss it up in desperation. Can't collect anything on the way there. And so it's good defensive play by Eltham.
So this next 2 to 3 minutes probably going to decide this game. If Eltham can get it back into single figures, they'll be full-on scrap in the last 3 or 4 minutes to decide this winner. Mount Gambier can probably come up with 3 or 4 possessions of stops. It's going to be hard for Eltham to get back and win this game.
Liddell almost gave herself a little bit of room on the spin move. In the end, Mumro's going to have to get creative. Almost get the mid-range jumper to fall. 6 minutes left here. Oh, that's a wonderful pass to Reinl, but well defended by Taylor Wynn, who got back with serious effort and speed. And jump ball is the result, which means Eltham will have possession. And Gambier's coach is creating all sort of noise on the baseline about what happened there.
Defensive prowess of Taylor Wynn, point guard, getting up and contesting a shot. See Hayley Liddell. Nice drive and finish with the left there. 12-point margin.
The unique ability, despite a relatively short stature, to get right underneath the cup, and once she's there, usually the result is already written in stone. Here is Mount Gambier looking to continue their scoring. It was Kalia who just lets it fall down to Uzi. And what's happened there, James?
Brain fart, some would say, from 5 players on the defensive end who got a stop and then just let the other team rebound and put it up for 2.
Liddell will hand off to Munro. Corner 3 was the option and considered it, but instead kicks it across to Amor. Has Wynn outside. This is where her spot is. She loves that little step back after the dagger step, but can't get it to go. And so this might fall down for Mount Gambier to get another score as we tick into the final half of this 4th quarter. 14 points to margin here. They're trying to keep him from crossing the half-court line, but eventually they do so. Kalia takes a moment to catch her breath as Amor plays defense on her. Right underneath the grill. She might come away with it, but the referee spotted enough contact to warrant a foul there on Lily Amor. There's going to be a timeout taken here. Amor collects her 3rd personal foul, and Kane DeWitt wants to chat about it with his proofs. So they head to the timeout with that 14-point margin. 4 minutes 45 remaining in this one as the DV Dance crew returns to the floor to keep this crowd that's continuing to file in. Do notice the men's side and Kane DeWitt's charges actually coming in the floor at the moment. So looking forward to that match, which starts at 2 o'clock this afternoon. So if you're watching on from home, looking forward to seeing how that one plays out. Also playing for those jostling around for position. Eltham men come into that one with 13-8 record. They had that big win last night to sew up a finals place. It's an open question on where exactly they'll finish. 5th or 6th looks likely at the moment. And for the Mt Gambier men, the second spot potentially beckons for them if they can come away with a victory. Their record's 15-6 on the season. Such a perennial team is the Mt Gambier men across a number of seasons at Siebel and NBL 1 level, and good to see them continuing their success over recent seasons. In season 2023, as Branka Asano steps into the triple and drills it.
That might just be the icing on the cake. Another beautiful pass there from Kalia. I want to say the 5 threes that Branka Asano's hit have probably come from 5 assists to Kalia.
Uzi collects her second personal foul, getting all tangled up with Hayley Munro, I should say. Hayley Liddell's about to inbound the ball for Eltham here. 14 seconds on the shot to work with. Wynn can give it to Maley, and she loses her handle, so it's transition basketball again here for the Pioneers. Munro manages to tap it out of hands. Taylor Wynn briefly protesting an Eltham ball there, but referee Carly Trist had no interest in hearing her out on that one. Here's Kalia. Receives it again, and Wynn considered the intercept but couldn't quite get there. Reinl pulls up at the free throw line and nails it for 2 points. So I think we can probably put this one to bed with that one. Hayley Liddell will try for 3 and pushes it a little long here. So Mt Gambier women, after a very exciting season in which they've been around the top all year long, will potentially finish with that second spot as promised after a big win over Waverley last night, a necessary one to lock in that home final to start the final season, already given themselves a second chance and have all the momentum heading into it. So it's just a question of if they can overcome that Bendigo side that has just been almost unstoppable all season long. But the Pioneers, they look pretty good, and I think that they've got another gear to go. I suspect they're only in second gear on today's performance, as Reinl makes her way down the floor and finishes over the defensive hands for 2.
One of those ones that the elastic's just gone out of this game. Eltham had their chance to make a run and weren't able to do so, and after timeout, Mt Gambier have gotten through what they wanted to on offense, come up with some scores, while Eltham haven't been able to. See subs roll through for Eltham. It's Munro, Liddell and Maley who head to the bench for the rest of the game. So the performance by Annalie Maley today, 23 points, 13 rebounds, 8 assists. Near triple-double. Marshall unable to come up with 3, and 4 of 23 shooting for this Eltham side, who say aren't the best three-point shooting side, but when you shoot like that, you're not going to win many games, and particularly not with the way Mt Gambier have shot the ball today.
Forsyth spots Wynn in the corner. There's a chance from a 3, but didn't give herself enough chance, unfortunately. 2 minutes and a quarter remaining in this final period. Marshall does well to drag down the board. The missed shot from Kalia. Kicked across to Wynn. Does she try again? Instead goes inside to Forsyth, turning and shooting over defensive hands. Came in the form of Carol Uzi, who's played a role today. It's good to see her out on the floor and making a big contribution. She didn't hit the court last night, but he's already got some 19 minutes of game time tonight, which just continues to show that Mt Gambier have some serious bench depth when they head into the finals, and some great rotations to go through. And should any players come down with any sort of niggles or injuries, it'll be good to know that they've got the depth off the bench, and that's something that Eltham just don't have available to them right now, with Beck Pizzi suffering a little bit of a knee twinge from last night. So pressure will be on this Eltham women's side heading into finals. It's looking like you mentioned Frankston, potentially the early matchup. A very quality side down there, so
see if we can figure out some results from today so far and see who that matchup might be against.
And so Mount Gambier, as the time ticks down to the final minute, will have a very successful weekend. Imogen Rock comes up with a steal off a Moore. Took it down the floor and then just retreated out to the edge of the perimeter. And Gambier again, even at this stage, just outnumbering Eltham all the way down the floor. That ability to transition, offensive transition, when they took an early shot in the shot clock, did Imogen Rock, and yet right underneath the basket was 3 Mount Gambier Pioneers ready to rebound. That's the sign of a side that's hungry. And I would be worried for any team matching up against the Pioneers. They very well might be Waverley, actually, who Mount Gambier toppled by 6 points. And not only will it be Waverley, it will be Waverley at Mount Gambier. And I think everyone watching at home knows that the atmosphere in that stadium is something to behold as Louise Forsyth finished the show. I was lucky enough to get down to Mount Gambier last season when Eltham went down and played there. Men somehow run away with a big victory in front of a pretty stunned Mount Gambier crowd. But on the whole, that place is a vicious place to go and play as an opposition side.
So if my maths is correct,
generally is.
Let's hope it is. That 4th and 5th spot in the women will come down to Frankston and Geelong. Geelong won by 9 points v Frankston 2 weeks ago, but earlier in the season Frankston won by 13, so looks like Frankston will have that head-to-head matchup, and depending on what happens in Geelong's matchup today, if a Geelong win today means these Eltham women play against Frankston, a Geelong loss means Eltham will head to Geelong next weekend, so it's all dependent on that Geelong and Waverley game, I think it is today.
As time ticks down here, it's an outcome perhaps we all expected coming into today, but Mount Gambier had to do it, and they did it. Most definitely. They win by 22 points, 92-70, and they executed what was always going to be a challenging backup from last night's match, but they executed it wonderfully. Eltham lose at home in their final regular season game. They'll have finals to look forward to, though, and as I said earlier in the game, I think fair to say Eltham spent all their tickets to lock in that place last night, toppling Diamond Valley Eagles, who were in 9th place. So it was 8th and 9th last night, where all the drama and all the action was happening. But today was just to test where these two sides are at, and I think we can confirm that Mount Gambier are going to be a whole lot of trouble for any opposition side. And I look forward to seeing how they continue their form into finals next week, and no doubt we'll be playing at home and potentially against Waverley, which is a side they know they can beat after winning by 6 points last night. So not the game we'll all be riding home about necessarily, James, but good to see, as I said, testing where both teams are at.
Yeah, both teams heading into finals, and it's when you know you're in finals, it's one of those games where you can come out and one team can be a bit flat while the other's up and about, and to start that game, I think both teams were ready to go, and I think it was just the class of Mount Gambier that shone through, shooting definitely, and they'll go a long way in finals, we believe. Well, this Eltham side will be in a knockout final next weekend, either against Frankston or Geelong, and there'll be plenty to play for if they want to keep their season alive next week.
Well, there you have it, folks. 92-70 was the final result in this one. Pioneers run away to victory. Of course, we are not done this afternoon at 2 o'clock local time.